welcome to the August edition of Mixed Media Menagerie. This month we are using tags, leaves, masking tape, and also this cute little mini kit from A House of Books. I happen to be one of the creative ambassadors, I think that's what I'm called, for A House of Books, and with that I'm able to get these little mini kits to give away, and so I gave them away this month to our 3 Mixed Media Menagerie ladies, myself, Laura, Erin, and our guest artist. So I am so excited that everyone's going to have this fun little pile of ephemera to play with this month. House of Books is a monthly subscription kit for ephemera. There's small, medium, and large. I have a couple unboxings on my channel, and I will have those linked below as well as more information. But let's get into the actual art for this month. I started out by gessoing my pages, and now I'm just going to fill these pages with some of the ephemera from this little mini kit. I'm just going to fill these pages with all different types of typefaces and colors and fonts and patterns, and I'm going to end up using some of that colored ledger paper and some other design printed little pieces of paper because I have an idea in mind, but I'm going to give you a little spoiler. The idea that I started out with, I end up going in a completely different direction, and I'll talk a little bit more about that along the way on this little journey. But what I'm doing now is to prepare me for my idea that I have, and then, like I said, it just doesn't go, well, it goes okay. I just switch my entire plan partially through my creation. Now I'm adding those pieces. I think it's a fabric. I don't remember. I read the backs or something and saw what it was, but I'm not remembering now what it is. I'm tearing those up and spraying them throughout the pages as well. And now that all that matte medium is dry, I'm going to use gesso to really push these papers back. I don't want them to be the main focal point. I want them to really disappear into the background. So I'm using the gesso to kind of unite the pages and also push them back. I'm going to end up adding more gesso in just a little bit because I didn't add enough, but this is the first step in really pushing those papers to the background. Okay, so now I grabbed these Tim Holtz tags. They were part of our mini kit that we offered at the beginning of the year, and there are a whole bunch, whole variety of printed different styles of vintage tags, and I've used them throughout the year, and I decided that I wanted to cut leaves out of them. So my plan is to draw leaves on these tags, cut them out, use the cutout leaves and the tag that's left over to layer in my background for texture. So I'm going to create this moment of textural leaves that I'm layering. However, I end up not doing that. So I'm gonna have to explore that idea on another journal page, and I'll share with you why I went in a different direction as we get to those moments. But this is what I'm doing right now. I'm preparing for that background that I'm wanting to do. And then because I'm wanting to layer color on these leaves and I'm not sure if I want that color to soak in, I'm going to actually use clear gesso on the leaf part but not on the tag part, because I wanted the color to really soak in on the tags, but I thought I maybe didn't want that to happen to the leaves, so I only put gesso on the front and the back of those leaves. And now I'm adding that second layer of gesso to these pages. Again, I felt like the colors and the prints of the papers weren't pushed back enough. So I just grabbed all of the warm colors in the Dina Wakley Media Acrylic. I had forgot the orange and yellow and went back and grabbed those, and I'm going to layer these in my background. I'm starting with the yellow on the bottom, and then I'm going to start with the very darkest purpley color on the top, and I'm going to go back and forth. I'm kind of wanting the layers to dry a tiny bit before I add the color next to them, so that's why I'm starting on the bottom and then going on the top. And then this is also helping me space the colors out a little bit more precise maybe. So I'm wanting the colors to blend together to create like kind of a seamless ombre look. And this is gonna go, well, this should go behind those leaves that I cut out, but then I end up not doing that like I said, but this is supposed to be my background for those leaves. So I'm just letting these colors blend together in kind of a pleasing rainbow to the eye, like the yellow will blend with the orange with the red with the purple. And then I'm going to flick some paint in between too to kind of introduce that purple a little bit down, you know, into the yellow so that it kind of makes a cohesive ombre look here. I'm hoping that this is going to show behind those leaves when I put them on top. And this is going to be kind of that background layer, but then I suffered from, this journal is a lot smaller than I thought it was. I mean, I know it's small, but I keep forgetting that it's a much smaller journal than I'm used to, and so my big ideas aren't translating as well in these smaller pages. And because of that, those leaves are going to cover up a little bit too much of this background that I'm starting to really fall in love with. So I'm using the hairdryer to help kind of combine those layers a little bit more and dry them. I'm going to put it down once it's dry, and then now I'm going to start adding a second layer. You can see how transparent and light that color is because I added a lot of water because I'm wanting it to blend, and so now I'm adding another layer of the same colors to get them to darken a little bit and to blend even more. So right about now, I'm starting to really fall in love with my background layer and thinking that I don't want to put tags all over and make it almost all completely disappear. I wanted to keep it, you know, kind of the focal point of what I'm doing. So at this point, I'm kind of deciding to ditch my original idea. And because I love this background so much, I'm wanting to add some texture to it. I thought I'd grab this stencil from Stencil Girl Products. I'll have the information linked below. And just use it to create some interest. So I'm stenciling with that foam applicator over the stencil, using the colors kind of that are behind it as much as I can to just create a little bit more pattern and interest in these backgrounds. And I've never done like a technique like this before, and I love it. I'm going to have to use it again because it's really cool how it turned out. Just to add, it looks like I used like white but didn't, and it's a really neat, like kind of fun idea that I had. I'm doing the same thing on the other side. I checked the stencil a couple times to add more paint as I needed. I didn't clean off that foam applicator. I just used the colors as they were because they'll blend in, and that was the point of that ombre background. And then I grabbed this new graphite pencil. I've been using it every month of Menagerie this year, and of course I wanted to use it this month. So I'm putting it down here and thinking, man, this just does not look right. It is not the right color, or my process isn't right. So I try a different process here to see what I can do. I left this in here so that you can see that we all go through different like trials and errors in our journal pages, and they just don't always work out. Thankfully, this is water soluble and it wipes away. But as you can see, there were parts that I liked. I liked that top right, but then the other parts were kind of looking green when it was down in the yellow, so it wasn't working. I wiped it all away and tried to figure out what to do next. I was hoping that graphite would make the pages look grungy and not so bright, and then I remembered walnut ink. Walnut ink would do the same thing, but be a better color choice. Technically I have a little bit of that Lyra graphite on these pages, even though you don't see it. I couldn't get it all 100% wiped off, so it's still there a tiny bit, but I'm trying to cover it up as much as possible with this walnut ink. At this point, I'm thinking I might not be using those leaves at all unless I can figure out how to put them in there. So how am I going to make this go with the leaf theme? And I'm thinking, well, this whole page looks like fall to me. It looks like one big fall leaf. I actually am kind of like smelling fall in the air while I'm working on this page. That brown just added that like crunchy leaf look to my journal pages, and I'm falling like so in love with this background. I'm not wanting to cover it up. Add a little bit more brightness to my pages, another element that's going to make me fall in love with them even more. I'm going to add some pops of fluorescent orange and red to the pages with this little stencil from Stencil Girl. You can see on the left there that I'm kind of playing with those leaf shapes to see how I could use them. I thought maybe I could make like a flower, not a flower, but like a larger leaf with them or some kind of plant. So I'm keeping that on there to kind of see if I like it or not, or if I have any other ideas while I stencil these little circly, squibbly things on my pages. I'm doing all of the orange fluorescent on the bottom part because that's where my pages are more orange and yellow. And then I'm going to do the use the foam applicator and add the pink to the top of the pages. After adding some of that pink on top, I'm going to add just a little bit more orange as well to kind of balance the pages. Now I'm just loosely tracing some circles around a random select few of those little circles that I stenciled on the pages, adding a little bit more like grungy, stencily, handwritten kind of marks to the front. There's some of that printed paper from the background that's kind of coming forward, adding a gray tone to the pages. So I'm using this graphite to kind of balance that gray that's coming forward and kind of making it match a little bit, adding again a little bit more grungy kind of rustic look to the front. And that Stibula graphic is water soluble. It doesn't like totally disperse as much as the black, but it does disperse a little bit. So I'm just activating that with my water and paintbrush here. Now I'm grabbing that walnut ink again. I didn't want all of those fluorescent marks to be like in the foreground. I wanted to push some of them back. So I'm adding just little bits of walnut ink on top of some of them to make it not look like it was the final layer. And then there were some other areas I just wanted to darken up a little bit. actually stepped away for a little bit to let that walnut ink dry and to kind of clear my head too, and I'm trying to figure out what to do on top. Now, I really just wanted to leave these pages as they are. I love the background. It's my, tribute to a leaf maybe in colors, but I'm not using tags, I'm not using masking tape. In reality, they're kind of boring without some sort of focal point. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what to do next. I liked those leaves on my pages, but they just didn't fit. And so I decided to add a bunch of walnut ink to them to see if I could try to figure out what to do next. I guess this is what happens when you kind of change directions mid-course and you don't really know where to go in the end. I'm just winging it here and having fun and well, maybe not having fun. I'm kind of honestly stressed on the inside to try to figure out what to do because I really didn't feel like it was coming together. I decided also to add some walnut ink to that larger tag. I think you maybe saw me playing a little bit a few minutes ago with that tag and a photo cutout from the House of Books kit, so I thought maybe I'd use that. Again, I honestly have no clue in direction and nothing is working for me. Now, when I've watched this back several times, I thought, that didn't look so bad. Why didn't I leave it like that? But at the time, I think I was so inside my head and so stressed about what to do that I just couldn't figure it out. I like those leaves on the page, but felt like they were lacking kind of a concrete border, so I grabbed that Stabilo again and traced the outside of them to make them look a little bit more leaf shaped. I don't know if that did anything. Again, I'm reaching here to try to figure out what to do next. Some of my figuring out in here for you to watch me, but I honestly stopped recording some of it too and just tried to figure out where to place the leaves and the tag and what to do to not bore you with that, but I wanted you to kind of see the process of every little thing I tried. Now, looking back, I actually like this layout. I don't know why I didn't like it when I was working on it, but it wasn't connecting for me. Now I grabbed that image and I wanted to use that because I thought it kind of looked like a fall day, and so I'm going to add some clear gesso to that to kind of protect it, and then I'm going to put some walnut ink on top of that to kind of tone down that gray color and make it look a little bit more warm and fall-like and match my pages a little bit better. In my head, I still have no clue what direction I'm going to go, and I'm still stressing about where to take these pages. I'm just continuing to add layers of walnut ink to this image and kind of putting it on my page to see how I liked it and to see how it fit, and then I ripped off that edge because it had water and a boat, I think, and I didn't really want to include that. And then I'm going to add some walnut ink to that edge to kind of make it look maybe like it was burnt or ripped off and really old, and I'm able to wipe some away with my baby wipe because I protected it with that clear layer of gesso first. I glanced over at that pile on my desk from my House of Books little kit and saw that piece of fabric, and it matched perfect with my pages, so I layered that with that little picture, another piece of tag, and then I kind of thought, well, in order to anchor these leaves down, maybe I should anchor them down with some more tags. So that's what I ended up doing, and I'm going to add some fluorescent splatters to these tags and to the leaves, and I'm kind of trying to make these pages come together. Last few minutes, I'm just adding the final touches. I'm going to staple my little collage on the left together to kind of get it to like stay together, but then I'm going to add some of the Dina Wakley heavy gel to stick it down. I'm going to do the same thing with those leaves and the tags. I'm going to end up flipping that one on the bottom sideways because it still wasn't sitting right with me, and honestly, I don't know if this page at all sits right with me. I love the background. I can't wait to play with that again. I really like the leaves. I like the walnut ink on them, and I have a ton more that I cut out, so I'm gonna have to do something with those, maybe kind of go back and do my original idea and not fall in love with my background so much. I don't know. I feel like this page was a scattered mess. I got there in the end. I learned a lot. I had fun. I found some new techniques I liked, and I think that's what an art journal is anyway, isn't it? It's a place for us to explore, learn new techniques, try things out, get our ideas out, and our artsy, I don't know what we need to do. Like, we're also creative and artsy, and we need to spend that time in our art journal. And it doesn't matter if we like it in the end. It's how we got there and what we learned and in the process. And yeah, I'm trying to be philosophical here, but I'm not doing a very good job. And I found that little piece of paper on my desk in the process, and I think it's a name from a ledger, and I thought it fit perfectly, so I'm layering that on top of my little collage. And after all that, I still hadn't used masking tape. My plan was to use masking tape to stick the leaves down, but that didn't go how I wanted, so instead I'm using masking tape to stick the tags down and get that in there. I actually like it because it matches the pages, and it's more for more over function or requirement over whatever. I like our menagerie every month because we pick out 3. Some of them are strange, sometimes not, but really the combination is strange that we have to include in our journal pages, and usually it kind of stretches me. And this month, yeah, it stretched me. In the end, I like my process. I like parts of my pages. It doesn't 100% come together in a way that's, I don't know, it doesn't feel cohesive to me, but I didn't know what else to do, and I thought, why stress and make them perfect? I like my background, I like my leaves, there's so much I like about it. Maybe I don't like everything together, I don't know. And then I found this little saying in the Tim Holtz stickers, something about crunchy leaves on the ground, and I thought that was perfect. I don't think it says crunchy, it says something about leaves on the ground. And I added that to my pages to kind of top them off. I'm adding a few more splatters to the pages to tie that picture in a little bit more, to tie the leaves in a little bit more, to try to make it pleasing to my eye. It's really not that bad. I think sometimes we just get disappointed that things don't come together how we want. However, like I said, there's so much I really do like about these pages, and a lot I learned in creating the process of creating them. I want to thank you so much for watching our menagerie this month. Make sure you hop over and see what Laura, Erin, and our guest artist created. I am so excited to see how they interpreted this month's themes. I also want to remind you to share what you create. Probably my favorite part of Menagerie is seeing what everybody else creates. I love seeing how you follow along and create with us. Make sure you use that hashtag. And also, we have one spot open for a guest artist. We have November open. We do have an application. or just send me a message on Instagram and let me know you're interested. We'd love to add you to our Menagerie this year. We have one spot open for a guest artist. Also, remember, all of that information for House of Books will be below if you're interested in finding out more about those kits. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful September fall season.